everybody. Hello. So it's Friday and I just thought that I haven't done a live on my main business page for ages. So I thought I'd pop on, say hello, see how you are doing and just talk to you a little bit about your ability to bounce back. There's an awful lot of people talking to me at the moment about stress, about anxiety, about not just like the everyday life stuff, but about particular things that come up for them. So I wanted to come and talk to you about that. So if you're catching this while I'm live, do just hi Liz, I was just saying, if you're catching this live, do pop on and say hello or give me a thumbs up or a wave. And if you're catching this on the replay, then you can also give me a thumbs up, put little notes in the comments and tell me what you think and ask me any questions, and I will pick them up later and come back to you if you've got any questions and things. So thanks for joining me live, Liz. So this week I had a bit of a kick in the teeth, really. I had some news just to do with a family and kids and stuff like that. I had a couple of things, really. So I had some news that really disappointed me, super disappointed me. And then there was also something that happened and I was kind of devastated, actually. Pretty devastated. And I had some plans this week for a really, really busy week. Oh, hi Emma, thanks for joining. It's lovely to see you on here. So I had on Monday, so I had a bit of news that I was pretty upset about. It was really not what I wanted to hear. And then there was something that happened and that it really hit me hard. I felt like I'd been really kicked in the teeth. And it was really, so, you know, two things that were a bit hard hitting each, but, you know, culminating together, I felt pretty rubbish. Okay, it felt really hard and pretty rubbish. And I'm really aware that a lot of us have these things in life, you know, however much we try, you know, to stay confident, to keep moving forward, you know, stuff just bloody happens, doesn't it? Stuff gets thrown at us. Thanks, Liz. It was a bit rubbish, but, you know, like with everything, I want to learn from it. And because, you know, I do learn from it, and I do know what to do for myself, but I thought this actually is a perfect opportunity to just share it a little bit more with people to help you to be able to bounce back really quickly from it as well. Okay, because I kind of have a bit more information and knowledge about what goes on in our brains and what works for us and what doesn't, and that is what I help people with. So I wanted to pop on today and just give you a reflection, a bit of my week, and let you know what works for me so that you can begin to figure out what works for you too. Okay, so, you know, the kick in the teeth, the bits of information, you know, it really, really wasn't nice. And but the first thing that we absolutely have to do, there's kind of 4 stages to this, right? So the first thing that we absolutely have to do is look at that situation, right? Now, we all can go, I'm too busy, you know, and, oh, I need to do this, and this needs doing too, and, you know, all of that stuff, and just keep plodding on. But if we do that, the stuff, that disappointment, that upset, you know, whatever it is, that hurt and everything, it's just going to keep jumping back up. It's just going to keep bothering us. So that whenever we try and keep moving forward, it's going to be harder to do that anyway, right? So look at the situation. That's point number 1. Take a little bit of time and look at that situation. Look at what it really means for you. Look at what's going on beneath the surface for you. Assess that situation. So it's about being reflective, really, and it's about learning about yourself and knowing yourself. Okay, just to ask yourself, how do I really feel about this? So I could have said, I feel like I've been kicked in the teeth, but that's not an emotional feeling, you know. That's a response that as if I've had a physical response. How do I really feel about this? And what's the big underlying message that's in there? Now, if you struggle with this, you can begin to like write it all out. So how do I really feel about, you know, that letter, that incident that I had this week? How do I really feel about this? And just let your hand flow. It's often called a journaling, but let your hand flow and just let it scribble. It's not a formal letter. It doesn't have to be sent to anyone. Nobody's going to read it and mark it, but just let that flow. Now, for me, I could just take some time. I can take myself into a little like meditation, hypnosis thing, and I can just allow it to be there. And for me, I took some, so all that happened on Monday, but I took some time on Tuesday morning to kind of go, you know, why is this bothering me so much? What is it about this? I've had loads of crap thrown at me over the years, to be fair. What is it about this that's really bothering me? See? So what is it? Okay. And I recognised with me, it wasn't about the kind of the information that I was given. It wasn't about where we were going to be going forward. It was about the underlying message it was sending to me. Okay, now nobody had written this out. Nobody had actually said it, but it was the underlying message that was being sent. Okay, and that was the thing that bothered me. Now, I didn't need to write it out because I will just sort of, you know, take myself into myself with meditation, hypnosis stuff, but writing it out can be really good. When you've found what it is, and it is going to be an emotion, it's going to be an emotion. There's a clue. So it's not, oh, kicking the teeth. It's going to be an emotion. When you've found out what it is, allow yourself to feel that emotion. Okay? So for me, I sat downstairs on my sofa after Jade had gone to school, and I cried. I just cried, and I allowed myself to feel that emotion. And I had the, you know, I'm really hurt by this, and it doesn't feel fair, and I'm upset by it, and I cried, okay? Because we allow ourselves to feel that emotion. Now, the crying is also a kind of release. Okay, so it's very good and it's very therapeutic, and I won't take up your time about all the technicalities about what crying does, but it's a kind of healing thing. Your body releases healing stuff. So what I'm saying to you is, don't ignore those feelings. Don't pretend that they're not happening. Just as I've said before, point one, don't just keep pushing ahead. Allow yourself to be reflective. How do I really feel right now? And then feel that emotion. Thank you, Liz. This is such great advice. Thank you. I'm glad you really kind of get it, because, you know, often when we're like in our zone of stuff that we love, we're a bit like, is this making sense to anyone? You know, do I sound like I'm just a bit wacky? So I'm glad that you like this advice. So feel that emotion. And it doesn't mean that you kind of have to go off crying and be a, you know, snotty mess like I was on Tuesday, because it might not be as big as that, and that might not be the thing that helps you. But what I'm saying is acknowledge it. So you're kind of going, right, hello, hurt feeling, or hello, really upset feeling, you know, or hello, I don't know, used feeling, you know, misjudged. There could be all sorts, you know, hello that feeling and recognise it's there. Number 3, give yourself time to recover, time to refresh, time to come back from this. Now, I was back and on it by Tuesday afternoon. Seriously. Okay, I've had a lot of practice. Okay, you know, it is my thing. It's what I teach. It's what I help other people with. You know, it's a big part of my business. Fine, but I didn't always function like this. So it is an ability that you can have too. So what I did was, I cried. I don't normally drink a lot of coffee, but I had a cup of coffee. You know, I mean, God, it's not gonna, you know, it's not gonna break my world, you know. But I was like, right, I'm having a right good cup of coffee. You know, it was, I don't know, whatever time, 8:30 in the morning. I got myself something nice and nourishing and comforting and soothing, because this was like a kick in the teeth thing. This, you know, I felt that I needed that comforting, nourishing, soothing thing. And a lot of people will talk about this being self-care, but it's about the self-care that's right for you. It's about what's going to help you to recover. Now, for some people, they might need to go and do an activity. They might need to, like go to the gym and they might need to sing. They might need to dance. You might need to laugh. You might need company. You might need time alone. You might need soothing and nurture like I did. Now, I needed a little bit of that, but I knew that actually if I could quite easily have crawled back into bed, picked up my book, got lost in my, book and got lost in that world, and the whole day would have gone. But there was a little bit of me as well, the little bit of fight back that was going, do you know what? I'm not going to let this kick, I'm not going to let it keep me down. I am not going to let it keep me down. And sometimes you might need a bit of focus. You might need, what we're doing is we're switching our brain into a different area. So out of that sorrow, out of that feeling of, out of the emotive areas of your brain. So that when you feel that you've had what you need, you pick yourself up and you move on. And that might be a push. That's point 4. That might be a push. Okay, so for me, what I did my crying, I did my soothing, and then I got myself up, I walked the dog. That's kind of a necessity, actually. I would have done that for him anyway. But then what I did, instead of working at home where I could, like I say, I could easily have crawled off back to bed and curled up in the duvet and just picked up a trashy book, I took myself out. So I took myself out, I went to a coffee shop. It was a crap coffee shop, to be fair. But, I was a crap coffee shop, and I took my laptop and I got my head into the plan that I'd had for the week anyway. So I was pushing myself, and it was literally a deep breath and move forward. But some of that created that distraction, stopped me thinking about it, moved into a different area. Also, though, what it does is by lunchtime, I had planned out my whole structure of my new programme, which, before the kick in the teeth, I was like, super excited about. I am now back to super excited about. But what it did, but by Tuesday lunchtime, I felt like I'd achieved something. I felt like I had a success. Now, it didn't need to be a massive big one. It was a bit of a double success if you think about it, because what I'd done was I'd moved on, and I can go, right, that's a success because I haven't wallowed in sort of self-pity. And 2, I've cracked it. I've set out my program, I've set out the document, and I've sent it out and asked for a bit of advice and some feedback, and then that was it, and I left it. Shut my laptop down, came out of the crappy coffee shop, and went on and did something else. Okay, to be fair, I had to go to the supermarket. We didn't really have an awful lot of food in the house, and I had a busy day Wednesday, and so there was all that bits that were taken into account. Okay, I kept moving forward. To be honest, the coffee shop, I had a peppermint tea and a piece of granola, so, an extra bit of nurture treat thing. The granola she put on a wet plate, so the bottom of the granola was a bit wet. Right, and I just couldn't face anybody, so I just dampened it off, and tapped it off with a tissue and thought, bugger it, I'm eating this bloody granola anyway. And then, when I looked at my cup of tea, peppermint tea, the bloody tea bag had burst, so that was all bloody bits floating around in it as well. So I was like, I really could have gone, this bloody world, and I hate it, and nothing goes right. But you know what? I just took a deep breath. I saw the funny side of it. I took the cup of tea back, asked them for another. I didn't mention the granola bit. I was halfway through eating. I was just like, whatever, let it go. I drank my cup of tea, did my piece of work. 4 steps, okay? Now, they can take a varying amount of time, okay? And a time that's right for you. Like I say, I turned that round in probably, less than 24 hours, okay? And honestly, you might be sitting there thinking, it can't have been that big then, it can't have been that bad. It was pretty devastating. It was, honestly, it was pretty devastating, you know, but we do get past everything, okay? So look at what this, when you've got something like a kick in the teeth that I had, one, look at what this really means for you, okay? Think about, ask yourself, how do I really feel right now? Write it out if you need to. Two, allow yourself to feel the emotion. There's a clue. It's an emotion. Acknowledge it's there. Three, give yourself the time that you need to recover, to refresh, to, you know, move forward from it. Whatever it is that you need, we are all different. And actually, sometimes we need different things. So on Tuesday, I needed soothing. On another day, I might have needed company, laughter, whatever. Do you see what I mean? So you might need different things. And the last thing is, when you're ready, just deep breath, move forward, push on, push yourself out there, get that sense of achievement. Don't let these things keep you down. Okay? Now, this ability to bounce back, it's often called resilience, you know, in lots of places, and there are some people that specifically work on resilience, you know, but for me, I'm the whole thing about our mindset, how we think, how we feel, and how we are able to cope in the world without things being too heavy, too stressful, and too difficult. Okay, so I hope that those 4 tips are really helpful for you. Are there things that you can incorporate in your life? If you've got any questions, then put them in the comments. Let me know, as Liz has done, if this is helpful for you, if you think you can incorporate it. Okay, and I'd really, you know, love to hear from you about what you think to this video, okay? And this will be going out as a newsletter. And Facebook is a bit funky at the moment and doesn't always bring things up in people's news feeds. So if you want to make sure that you get all of these bits of information, either put a note in the comments, say, I want your newsletter, send me a message and just say, I want your newsletter. Or just let me know in some other way so that you can get these tips and this information into your inbox straight away, and you can use them and apply them. Liz, I've taken notes, Emma. I'm applying it to a wee trigger I've had this week. Absolutely, Liz. Absolutely. You know, use it and apply it. Okay, and you know, you can just stick it in a little folder of things that help and things that you regularly come back to, things that resonate with you, so that you can go, right, where's my boost file, where's my recovery file, so that you've got things that you go back to, rather than going, oh God, I saw that video, or, you know, oh, who did it? Oh yeah, it was Emma. Oh, well, let me go find it. Scroll through. Do you see what I mean? Take it and put it somewhere that's good for you. That's really good, Liz. I really, really hope it helps, darling. Okay, and so everybody else that's listening, if you're listening to the replay, if you're on now, let me know what you think. And like I say, if you want all this into your inbox so that you don't have to worry about missing it, these Facebook feeds, you know, they move so fast, they're really, really busy. Just let me know. You can get onto my newsletter and you can get me in your inbox with these tips on a really regular basis. Okay, so I'd love to hear from you. Bye for now.